Hi, welcome back to Dave's Radio Shack. This is Dave, W7UUU. In this video, I'm going to revisit an older project from a few years ago. It's a little music player that sits on a shelf in my home office and allows you to use some of these old music devices like old iPod Classics and my old iPhone 4S as an iPod to play MP3 music. It's a simple project in that it's modular. The modules that make it all work you can buy on eBay. So it's very easy to source the parts pretty cheap to put something like this together, but still have the ability to flip over to Bluetooth and use it with your modern device as well. So we'll cover how the boxes go together, how the modules all fit inside the boxes and what they all do, how the faceplate went together and the layout of all the devices, the meters and the speakers, and kind of how I put the whole thing together. It's a fun project and I think you'll enjoy watching this, so let's go. So now let's take a look at the front panel controls and what they do. It's really pretty simple, kind of the standard table radio sound system. We've got treble is our first knob, then bass. These are part of an internal module that we'll see when we look on the inside that is the tone control module that gives us the treble and the bass controls. Then we move on to our balance control that gives us our left and right speaker separation, and lastly our volume control on the right. We've got an indicator to tell us if we're in iPod mode or in Bluetooth mode with an orange indicator. I chose orange to match with the artwork of the logo. The meters were a little bit of a disappointment. They are analog meters with illumination. However, you'll notice they're not lit up. And my mistake was when I ordered them, I thought they were LED illumination. They're actually not. They're little tiny incandescent bulbs. And within a few months of the device being powered on, the bulbs burned out. So the meters are hot glued in place, so it's a little bit tricky to remove them and replace the bulbs inside the meter. So I've just let them stay dark. Up on the top, we've got a pile docking station. They still make these. They still make several kinds of them. But even if not, if you aren't interested in the docking function, just go with the Bluetooth. I just happen to have a lot of iDevices around, old iPhones and classic iPods, and they were loaded with music, so I just decided to use those. So let's go ahead and see how it plays. There is a remote control, and this actually is communicating with infrared to the docking station. So just go ahead and hit play. Very nice tonal quality to it. There's our treble. And our bass. Our balance. And our volume. And of course you can see the meters are indicating the signal present. And of course, at any time, we can hit the pause button on the remote, and we are now paused. We can also fast forward, reverse, and so on. Access the menus. Anything that you can do on your iDevice, you can do. This also works with that particular pile bass. If you're using iPod Classics, it also works with the iPod Classic to forward and reverse and pause the song. So you have the same control regardless of which device you use. For Bluetooth, it's simply a matter of switching the center switch up to the Bluetooth position, and then on my phone, simply going in to my Bluetooth settings, and I will find the device is called Shure Hi-Fi. I'm now connected to the Shure Hi-Fi, which is the device that's inside the Bluetooth receiver, and then we go out to our music. So just a couple of notes. So same thing, we're able to use a Bluetooth device in the Bluetooth position or go back to our iPod device on the docking station, and of course the final position is off. So that's the basic function of the front of the unit and all of the controls and the meter. Next up, we'll take a look at the inside. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the inside of the cabinet. First off, right down here at the very bottom, this large circuit board on the bottom, that's actually the driver for the two panel meters. It's an actual VU meter driver, volume unit logarithmic driver for measuring audio levels. Not necessary for this kind of a project to have all of that, but I thought it would be a neat look to have VU meters on the front, especially the old school analog style. So that's what that board does. Over here on the left, this little board is the Bluetooth board, and you can see it blinking back in here, the LED back here in the corner that blinks periodically. That is the Bluetooth board. I'm using the 3.5 millimeter audio output on it, and it also has RCA outputs, but I'm just taking that Bluetooth output, and that runs over to my toggle switch that switches between the two audio sources, being the docking station, which is on the top of the cabinet for the iPod, or the audio coming out of the Bluetooth board. Over on the left, this is just a homemade power supply regulator board that provides the 5 volts and the 12 volts for the different modules inside the cabinet. So it's just a basic rectifier, capacitor, and regulator assembly that's just built on a terminal strip over here in the corner. On the very far side over here, you can see the big heatsink in the back. That is the power amplifier, the stereo amplifier module that runs the two speakers. So you can see this is all just completely modular. These are just modules that you can acquire and assemble these together in a space, and they all work very well together as far as the audio levels are concerned. The board right up at the front, this is the tone control board, and this is what actually gives us our treble, bass, balance, and then the master volume control. So all of the audio sources, the Bluetooth and the docking station, essentially feed into the tone control board, which becomes the preamp essentially, because it's handling the tone control, the balance, and the volume control from the preamp output that then feeds into the power amplifier. And I don't know how well you can see it here, but there is a knob down in here on the power amplifier. That's its master volume level. So I've just got that set at a level that when the preamp maxes, makes it so you can't turn the speakers up so loud that you'll actually blow the speakers. And then back here in the corner, you can see the blue LED that is on for the amplifier. So it's just modular. These are just modules that are installed in the box. They're all screwed into place. Into the easy to work with wood of the box. The meters are glued in place, and that was kind of a mistake because I thought that the meters had LED illumination, and in fact it's incandescent light bulbs, and they burned out after about 6 months or so of the unit being on the shelf. So that was kind of a mistake to use the hot glue to install the meters. I don't consider them removable at this point without doing some significant damage to the front panel. But that's all the modules and how they all work. There's just a lot of shielded cable interconnect. These are all just the audio interconnects that link the different boards together. So that's how the inside of the actual audio unit works. Now we'll take a look at the speakers themselves. So this is the inside of one of the speaker cabinets, and just like the main cabinet for the audio unit, it's another box from Hobby Lobby that's very easy to work with. It comes with the hinges pre-installed, so it wasn't a lot of woodworking to work with the box. I just needed a 3-inch hole saw to cut a hole in the top of the box to mount the small speaker. Speaker was readily available on an internet source. I think I used Parts Express to buy the speakers. They're reasonable fidelity, not a super loud playing speaker, not designed to be, but have a good frequency response and fidelity for this kind of an application. And then inside each speaker box there is acoustical batting to just help keep the box from sounding quite so tinny and gives it a little bit better of a low end. Looking at the back side of the box, we just bring the wires out to an RCA jack. I did make a nice little label to go on the back just to make it look nice, not that anybody will ever see the back. Got rubber feet so the box can stand up without marring the shelf that it sits on. The grill was also sourced from, I believe, Parts Express, 3.5-inch metal grill, matte finish. The box is finished in a basic stain with a varathane gloss finish over that. Very simple to do, very easy materials to work with. This project started out really as a box looking for something fun to build into it. I found the hinged wooden box at a hobby supply store for pretty cheap, and I thought it would be a good basis for a small table radio music system kind of a project. Once I had decided on the operational considerations as an iPod and Bluetooth player, I set about laying out all the components. The front panel is made from a piece of copper-clad PC board cut to fit. Since the wooden project box was made of soft pine, it was really easy to cut a suitable opening that the PC board panel would cover. The hardest part of any project like this is laying out all the parts and pieces and designing the graphics. I went through many iterations of panel layout artwork until everything fit as it should. I print out the trial artwork just on my office printer, cutting holes and making sure all the parts will fit together. The final panel art will be printed on glossy cardstock at Office Depot for a nicer look. The same artwork and layout was done for the lid, where the iPod docking station would be installed. Once all the control locations were nailed down, I then cut the appropriate holes in the PC board material and did a test fit of the panel to the box, just to make sure everything fits. Then the final artwork is glued in place on the pre-drilled PC board front panel, ready to start installing components. Internally, the boards can now be fitted into their final locations, then mounted and all the interconnections completed. As each board is installed and connected, it was tested for proper operation before mounting in place in case any errors would need to be corrected. Once the main audio unit was completed, I fully tested it on the bench one last time before moving on to the speakers. Speaker construction was the same basic process, again using small hinged boxes from the hobby store. 3-inch holes were drilled to mount the speakers into the grill assemblies, which hold them together in place. As explained earlier in this video, I added acoustical insulation inside each box to aid in the low frequency response and make the boxes not sound quite so tinny. The final result came out better than expected and is in regular use in our home office. Well, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and maybe got something out of it. If you have any questions about the modules I used or how the system went together, put them in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. And if you want to see more videos like this, just hit the subscribe button as well. Thanks for watching. This is Dave, W7UUU, Dave's Radio Shack.